Well, hello, hello, hello. It's so good to see you here. And I hope that if you were just viewing me from the other page, my personal page, that you've had an opportunity just to pop right on here and hit that link. I hope that was helpful. Anyway, today we have a really interesting topic. You know how most people end up talking about what's wrong? And I mean, I do it all the time. You know, we discuss things that aren't going so well. And, you know, we talk about what happens when life's out of balance. We talk about when we're stressed out. We talk about feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. But today, let's talk about when life goes well. What it feels like to be naturally generous and expansive and that feeling of being fulfilled. All right. And for those who aren't familiar with me, I'm Lorraine Lapointe, and I just love working with my clients and others and helping people to help things go right. Because if there's one thing that I know for sure that's really tremendously important is that when I support others, there has to be a willingness to look at things from a different perspective as I guide and I serve people in really purposeful ways. You may not be aware that I'm the creator of Head Heart Synergy, and that's a company that offers online programs, and I show naturally generous go-givers and go-getters how to recover the lightness and the joy that existed in their lives before all that heavy, uncomfortable stuff got in the way. And that's one of the reasons why today I want to talk about when life flows well. And I'm going to offer to outline the 5 laws of stratospheric success. So life flows with greater balance and ease when we follow these 5 laws. And today I mentioned earlier that it's been a crazy day in terms of timing, so I'm just going to jump right in. So this will be a fairly short boom, 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 boom video. All right. So here's number 1. The first law is actually the law of value. You know, your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value rather than what you expect in return or in payment. And your self-worth is not really measurable in dollars and cents, you know, or dollars and diamonds, as some like to say. You know, a kind gesture given to someone can transform a life just as effectively as a multi-$1,000 program. You know, if we give away, I'm not saying like give your programs away for free, but when we give away and we give something from our heart that someone needs, you know, it may have no value for us, but it may have great value for them. And so the law of value is not based on money. You know, it's a moment, it's based on receiving something at the moment that we need it. So I'm always on the watch for when my clients need things and where I can facilitate them receiving. And I'm sure you are too. Let's talk about the law of compensation, you know, because the law of compensation is also important. Our income is determined by how many people we serve, how well we serve them. I mean, that's the bottom line. When we put ourselves into the world with our pure intention of service, then often we receive exchanges with other human beings that compensate us, and it may not necessarily be financial. I'm sure you understand what I mean. For example, you know, there's that old saying, if someone doesn't have a smile today, give them one of yours. And it's amazing. Like, that's one of the reasons why I wear a clear mask these days, is because I love to be able to smile at people. And I'm noticing that so many people stop me and thank me and are appreciative that I've chosen to wear something that allows them to continue to see my face. And so, I mean, the law of compensation doesn't have to be about money. The next one, the third law, is the law of influence. You know, your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. And to clarify, placing someone first doesn't mean placing yourself last. People who tend to give and give and give, like give in or give up or go along, tend to put themselves in a last position. And each person is important, but not one person more than another. In any moment, we can find ways to share our light or share the center stage, and it depends on the circumstances. So I'm not talking about equality, like being equal. Equality means that everyone gets the same thing regardless of whether they need it or not. That's equality. I'm talking really about equity. And equity is what we crave in secure, loving relationships. We want to know in our relationships that there's equity, that when we have a crisis or we need to be center stage, that we will get the attention at the time when we need it. So that's equality versus equity. And the fourth law, and we're just ripping right through these. If you agree with anything that you're hearing, just put amen or yes or I agree in the chat, because, and if you're here on the replay, go ahead and add your comments too, because as I said, everybody's important. The fourth law is the law of authenticity. The most valuable gift you can offer the world is yourself. The essence of who you truly are. Think about that. You know, there's no need to paint a false front. There's no need to change who you are, because who you're being in this moment is really important. It's the perfect you. And until you choose something different in another moment, then that becomes the most wonderful you or the perfect you. You know, this really speaks to the meaning of life that people say to me often, like, Lorraine, what do you think is the meaning of life? And if you're curious about that, add meaning of life into the comments below, and I'll share them with you. Okay. See, not perfect, even in that moment. Anyway, if you are interested in the meaning of life, I'll be happy to share that with you, and it is pure gold. Finally, the last law that I want to talk about today is the law of receptivity. Key to effective giving is actually to stay open to receiving. The way to win at the game of life is to be ready to accept and receive as well as give. You know, if we can acknowledge our openness to receive, then abundance and happiness and healthiness and joy can become part of our world. It can flow to us. It's when we're closed and we're so busy pushing things out and giving and not willing to receive that our world is out of balance. You can really quite easily shift the way that you relate and even the way you view your world and your business. So I encourage you to do the following three things. First, increase the value of your offer, not by giving in or giving up or going along or giving more of yours other than yourself. But I think we'll cover that again in another video in more detail. The second thing is to build trust. And the trust I'm talking about is within yourself. Because if we don't trust ourselves, I read something yesterday that said trust The most important part of the word trust is the you that's in the middle. I thought that was helpful. We have to be impeccable with our word and our deed. And we'll talk some more about that one as well. And the third thing is be ready to accept your rewards. Be open to profit, be open to reciprocity and flow in your life so that it can come to you. And, I hope that this quick discussion today has helped you, and that it will help you make things go right in your world. And so I'm going to sign off at this point. If you have any questions, of course, you can go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'd be happy to connect with you afterwards. Or let's have discussion in the Facebook group called Go Givers, Go Getters, Mindfully Moving Forward. And we can continue our conversation in there. All right? Have a great day. Talk to you again soon. Bye, everyone.